So the NFL draft is only a couple of days away. Shocking. It's unreal that the NFL draft. I'm sorry if you heard an echo right there real quick. I messed up the setting. But the NFL draft is only a couple of days away, and it's really crazy. So we're going to be going over my mock draft 2.0 today. I will be making one more that we'll be releasing on draft day around 10, 11 o'clock in the morning Central Time. Um, so look forward to that one. And we do have a ranking video coming out, I believe Tuesday. We have a ranking video come out of every position of need in my eyes, which is defensive end, obviously, defensive tackle slash nose tackle, linebacker, wide receiver, and interior offensive line, specifically offensive guard, and safety as well. Those are the positions that will be in the ranking video. I will not be doing, obviously, quarterbacks, running backs, tight ends, um, cornerbacks, we don't need those positions. Maybe a tight end 3 we need, but I'm not just gonna rank tight end 3s. So those would be the guys in the ranking video that we do. There will be 15 players ranked per position besides defensive end, where I have, I believe, 32 ranked. So because we need defensive end that bad, so that video will be coming out Tuesday. But mock draft 2.0, so let's go ahead and get into it now. Last video was really bad on my mock draft. I don't know. I was really tired or something in that video. And I made way too many trades. So I believe I cut it down to, I cut it down to 3 trades in this video. And I know people are like, well, Brad Holmes is only going to probably make 1 or 2. Let's count. He traded up for Terrion Arnold last year. That's 1. He stayed put and drafted Ennis Rakestraw. He traded up for Giovanni Manu. He traded up for Sione Vaki. And he traded up to get Christian Mahogany, right? He made at least 4 trades last year during the NFL draft. I can't remember. He traded up for Mekhi Wingo or Christian Mahogany. I know he traded up for one of them. I think it was Christian Mahogany, but I could be wrong. But he made 4 trades last year during the NFL draft. So Brad Holmes is going to make, in my opinion, anywhere from 3 to 4, maybe even 5 trades during this draft. Especially with the amount of capital that we have for next season. He will definitely trade away at least 1 pick, I think, next season. But let's start off with the mock draft. Now, in my 3 mock drafts with our first pick, I am trading up once, trading back once, and staying put at pick 28 once. It just made a lot of sense because I probably would have traded up in every single mock draft that I did, and I just thought that was excessive. So we traded up in the last mock draft, so we will be trading back in this video, and we will be staying put at pick 28 on draft day when that video releases. So there's a spoiler for that one. But so we have traded back with our first pick. The Detroit Lions have traded back with the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns will receive pick 28. The Detroit Lions will receive pick 33 and 104. And with the 33rd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Donovan Jackson, guard, Ohio State. Donovan Jackson, and here's another spoiler, he is my number 1 guard in the NFL Draft. He played primarily tackle at Ohio State. But after watching the film with specifically the top 3 guards in the draft, Tyler Booker, Gray Zabel, and Donovan Jackson was by far my favorite. He felt the most aggressive, had the best hand placement, great size. I believe he's around 6'5", phenomenal 6'5", 315, somewhere around there. He has perfect size, which I absolutely love for a guard. Again, he's flexible too. He can play tackle. He's definitely going to be primarily a guard in the NFL, but he can play tackle if needed. He is my number 1 guard in this draft over Gray Zabel. I understand the flexibility of Gray Zabel. I went back and forth on who was my number 1 guard in the draft between Gray Zabel and Donovan Jackson. Gray Zabel has insane flexibility. He can play literally every single position on the offensive line. He can play left tackle, left guard, center, right guard, right tackle. He literally can play every position. Play fullback if you need him to. But Gray Zabel is probably going to be looked at primarily as a center guard in the NFL. He played tackle essentially mostly at North Dakota State. But he's probably most likely 100% going to play guard or center in the NFL. But he's just not super aggressive. I don't really see him fitting on the Lions' offensive line. The Lions tend to like more aggressive players on that offensive line, if you get what I mean. Christian Mahogany's aggressive. Penei Sewell's aggressive. I view a little bit of Taylor Decker aggressive. So Frank Ragnow and Graham Glasgow aren't quite as much, but Frank Ragnow was here before Campbell and them got here anyway. And then Glasgow was here before. So whatever. But I believe we tend to tend to lean towards more aggressive offensive line. That's what Donovan Jackson fills. So I think that's a great pick. He might not even be there pick 33. I'm not going to lie. I have a first-round grade on him. I believe I have a first-round grade on him. I almost have a top 25 grade on him. I think I have a top 30 grade on him is what I have. But Donovan Jackson, if the Lions took him at pick 28, I'd be completely fine with it, depending what the defensive ends are looking like that are available. But the Detroit Lions select Donovan Jackson to pick 33 by trading back with the Cleveland Browns. Now, the Detroit Lions at pick 60, they're going to stay put once again like last mock draft. With the 60th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Xavier Watts, safety, Notre Dame. This guy just fell into my laps. I can't believe this guy was available at pick 60. I have another first-round grade on this guy. I believe I have probably around, I don't know. I don't know how many first-round grades I have because I haven't, done quarterbacks and stuff like that. But in terms of positions, I think positions of need that the Lions have to get, in my opinion, I think I have around 17 first-round grades. So you taking all the other positions I need, it's probably around 23. I think this is a phenomenal draft class when it comes to early in the draft for sure. But pick 60, Xavier Watts just fell into my lap. I have a first-round grade on him. I have a back-end first-round grade on him. If he goes in the first round, that's not surprising at all. I have him as my number 2 safety in the draft. I'm not going to say he's ahead or behind because I want to, not spoil the whole video, but for Tuesday. But Xavier Watson, my second graded safety in the draft. I have a first-round grade on him. He fell in my lap to pick 60. I don't know if he'll sneak in the first round. Nicky Minowari, Malachi Starks, to a lot of people are going to go in the first round, not Xavier Watts. If Xavier Watts is there pick 60 or even there in like the early to mid-pick 50s, and depending on what the Lions do with their first pick, if they take a defensive end with the first pick, I think you got to consider trading up for Xavier Watts. Guy's a phenomenal safety. Guy's a ball hawk at Notre Dame. Very versatile safety, very athletic safety. He's going to be an absolute dog in the NFL. I love Xavier Watts. If the Lions somehow got him pick 60, that would be one of the steal of the draft for sure. So he just fell into my lap, so I had to take him. Even that might not be realistic to some people, but he fell into my lap, so I had to take him. Now, we have our second trade of the day. We are trading with the Green Bay Packers. We are trading up with the Green Bay Packers. The Packers will receive pick 102 and pick 104 that we received from the Cleveland Browns. The Detroit Lions will receive pick 87, pick 159, which is the Packers' 5th-round pick, and a 2026 6th-round pick. I feel like I lost that trade when it came to value. They got our 3rd-round pick, and they got our first 4th-round pick, which was 2 spots, which was the 2nd pick in the 4th round. So I feel like we lost that trade. We got, again, a mid to late 3rd-round pick, a 5th-round pick, and a next year 6th. I feel like we probably lost that trade, but we hadn't got an edge rusher yet. I had to get an edge rusher. That was on my mind. There wasn't too many ones that were still available that I liked, so I went ahead and traded up for defensive end Kyle Kennard from South Carolina. So there you go. That's the pick. The Detroit Lions trade up to pick 87 and select Kyle Kennard, defensive end from South Carolina. I don't know where Kyle Kennard is ranked on my board. He is ranked number 13 on my board out of 32 defensive ends I have ranked. I have a 3rd-round grade on him. I think that's a phenomenal pick for the Lions for who was available. Guys like JT Tuimoloau, Josiah Stewart, Jack Sawyer, Landon Jackson, Olafemi Olejado, even Jared Ivey was off the board when I went to go pick, so I had to trade up and get him. Uman Yellen was off the board as well, so I had to trade up and get him. He was the best available. I would not have been comfortable if we had to take a guy like Q Robinson, Kamon Rucker, Jordan Birch at that spot. So I had to trade up and go ahead and get him. Might have lost the trade, but we had to get a defensive end, so that's the pick. Now at pick 130, which is our original 4th-round pick, the Detroit Lions select Ty Robinson, defensive tackle, Nebraska. Ty Robinson was phenomenal at the combine. Great size for a defensive tackle. I believe he's 6'6", 290, somewhere in that range. He can even play defensive end probably if you need him to, but he's more of a defensive tackle, very similar to a Calais Campbell type build. He can get to the quarterback, man. I'm pretty sure he had 5-6 sacks this past year in college. He can get to the quarterback. He needs some work on his hands and getting off the line of scrimmage, his first step and everything. But I feel like he can get to the quarterback if needed. He's going to take some development, like I said. But in a couple of 2-3 years or so, I could see this guy being a starting defensive tackle in this league, no doubt about it. Even some people have him going in the back end of the 3rd round, which is crazy to me. I have a 4th-round grade on him. I don't see him going any earlier than the 4th round. I just don't see the talent and immediate impact being good enough for him to go in the 3rd round. But the 4th, 5th round is guys that I look for future investments and guys like that are going to make an impact down the line, in my opinion. Still filling positions in need, but players who can fill an impact down the line that might not necessarily make an impact day one, but will make an impact in the future. That's what those 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round picks are for, in my opinion. So the Detroit Lions take Ty Robinson from Nebraska, defensive tackle. I like this guy a lot of the draft process, and a lot of mock drafts I've done on my own. I've taken him quite a bit as well. So I think getting him in pick 130 here is a good spot for the Detroit Lions, especially since they got Kyle Kennard at pick 87. That way they can pair another defensive lineman with Kyle Kennard. Going back to Kyle Kennard, really didn't talk about him. Very productive defensive end in college. Had, I believe, 10 sacks this past year in college. Very productive. I could be wrong on that. I know he was in the double digits, though. But very productive defensive end at South Carolina. Needs a little bit of a better first step. I thought his hand placement, though, and finesse moves and everything was pretty good. I thought his bend was pretty decent as well. So Kyle Kennard, again, best defensive end available at the time, so I had to trade up and get him. Now, we have made... Hold on a minute. No, we are staking put at pick 159, which is the 5th round pick we got from the Green Bay Packers by trading up to get Kyle Kennard. And with the 159th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Barrett Carter, linebacker, Clemson. I'm gonna take a look and see where this guy was at on my rankings. I believe I had a 3rd round grade on Barrett Carter. I haven't watched a lot of Barrett Carter, but I've watched enough of him to get somewhat of an idea. Yeah, I have a 3rd round grade on Barrett Carter. Back end 3rd round grade on Barrett Carter. Get him at pick 159. He's to a lot of people more of a 4th, maybe even early 5th round type talent. But Barrett Carter to me is a 3rd round, very athletic linebacker. I haven't watched a lot of him. I don't even know if I've looked at his stats to be honest, but I have watched slightly a little bit of him. No, I just know he's very athletic. He can get to the ball. Good tackler. So I had to go ahead and take Barrett Carter here. He is my 5th ranked linebacker in this class from what I've watched so far. Linebacker, out of the positions of need that I think the Lions need, has probably been the position I've watched the least amount, so I don't want to give like a firm ranking on this. Tuesday when I release my video, the rankings are going to be most of like the back end guys I might not have watched that much of film, if any, so I'm just going off of like their stats, even though I hate doing that. Going off of their stats and going off of what other analysts and people say, even though I hate doing that. That's just what I have to do because we have 4 days until the draft. 5 days until the draft. I don't have enough time to watch everybody. Still got a lot of more players to watch, and some of these guys I'm just not gonna be able to watch. So there's that. Barrett Carter, absolute steal, pick 159. The Lions need a linebacker. He's a linebacker of the future, potentially Malcolm Rodriguez replacement. So I think that's a great pick. I don't know what that was. I just heard something in the background here. I don't know if that picked up on video, but that was kind of creepy. I don't know what that was. But the Detroit Lions have made another trade. They are trading up with the Cincinnati Bengals. They're moving up 3 spots with the Cincinnati Bengals from pick 196. The Bengals will receive pick 196 and pick 228. The Lions will receive pick 193. 7th round picks aren't worth much at all. It's an early 7th round pick, the one that we got from Dallas in the last year trade from Terrion Arnold. But I had to move up here. The Lions need a wide receiver. This guy was the best available. He's an ex-wide receiver in my opinion. And with the 193rd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Nick Nash, wide receiver, San Jose State. The guy was one of the most productive receivers in football this past season. The problem is he's from San Jose State, and he's 24 years old already. That is the problem with Nick Nash. I believe he's actually turning as well 25 when the season is like halfway through the year, turned 25. Extremely old wide receiver, but very, very productive at San Jose State. He had 1,300 yards this past season. I think 13 touchdowns. He's, I believe he's 6'5", 215, 210, somewhere around there. Very big wide receiver. He can be your ex-wide receiver. I don't know if he can make an immediate impact and be wide receiver 4 for the Lions, but I think this guy has a very, very high ceiling. I personally, I believe, have a 5th round grade on him. So getting him here in the 6th, in the late 6th, I believe is an absolute steal for the Lions. Let's see where I have him ranked. I have him ranked as a... Wow. Yeah, I have a 6th round grade on him. I don't even have him on my rankings quite yet, but I know I have a 6th-round grade on him. Um, Again, the middle part of the receiver class is really good this year. Not a lot of X wide receivers, so Nick Nash was the best X wide receiver available. Ty Felton from Maryland was already off the table, and a lot of the other big body wide receivers. So I had to go ahead and take him. Very productive guy. I know he's old, but at worst he can be a really good wide receiver, 4 wide receiver, 5 for you in the future. As Khalif Raymond's most likely going to leave next year. Same with Tim Patrick. So you feel a good need there, in my opinion, and that still can lead to flexibility for you, um, for a veteran to come in, or even a guy like Allen Robinson to come back and be wide receiver 4. So I think that's a great pick. And with the final pick in the 2025 NFL Draft of the Detroit Lions, the 244th pick, the Detroit Lions select Jabbar Muhammad, cornerback, Oregon. We didn't really need another need here. I just go ahead and take best player available. I have a 6th-round grade on Jabbar Muhammad. I like this guy. I could very well see Jabbar Muhammad being a Lion. Seems like a Lion type guy from his press conferences and interviews I've seen. I like his play. He can play a little bit of safety if needed. More of a cornerback. Pretty decent sized corner, which we don't have. I believe he's 6'1", 6'2", somewhere around there. He's a very bigger corner from what we typically have. We don't really have a big cornerback on the roster right now besides Stanley Thomas Oliver, and he's probably not going to make the team. So Jabbar Muhammad here, you're potentially getting Avonte Maddox is probably going to move to safety in this case scenario. So he'll probably be safety 3 while Xavier Wise starts at safety 4, somewhere around there. And then Cole Dorsey will be CB6, and then Jabbar Muhammad will fight for a roster spot to be CB7. So I think this is a great pick. This guy also has, I believe, a very high ceiling, but also has a chance to, not make an impact. But best player available, here's what I did. Not really a position need of all, but we do have a lot of cornerbacks who will be free agents next year. Amika Robertson, Rock Sin, Avonte Maddox, Cole Dorsey. So, not Cole Dorsey. He signed a 2-year deal. But we have a lot of corners who will be free agents next year. Stanley Thomas Oliver. So I want to go ahead and here take best player available and potentially another, future asset for the Detroit Lions. So that is my mock draft 2.0, longer video. Sorry about that. But final one will be coming out Thursday around 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock Central Time in the morning. So I look forward to that. Can't believe the draft is almost here. One pride, go Lions. Grade my mock draft in the comments down below.